Hello, nice to have you join us on Newsroom series. I'm Dominic Iwibu. Today we'll be focusing on the Northwestern region. But before we get into that, let's have a look at the top stories making the rounds at the moment. The Senate has postponed the screening of ministerial nominees earlier scheduled to have taken place today. A statement issued by the Special Advisor to the President on National Assembly Matters, Senator Bashir Lado Mohammed, says the postponement is to allow all nominees conclude all aspects of documentation and pre-screening exercises. Senator Mohammed says the exercise has been rescheduled for Wednesday, October 30, 2024 at 12 noon. The Senate had on Thursday received a written request from President Bola Tinubu for the screening and confirmation of appointments of 7 ministerial nominees following the sack of 7 ministers and 7 replacements as nominees. The ministerial nominees as contained in the letter are Dr. Nentwa Yilwatada, Minister of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Reduction, Mohammed Megari Dingyadi, Minister of Labour and Employment, and Bianca Odinaka Udumegu Ojukwu, Minister of State Foreign Affairs. Others are Dr. Jumoke Uduwale, Minister of Industry, Trade and Development, Idi Mukhtar Meha, Minister of Livestock Development, Yusuf Abdullahi Atta, Minister of State Housing, and Dr. Swaib Said Ahmed, Minister of State Education. We start off in Kano, where the Kano Electricity Distribution Company had on October 22nd attributed the recent lack of power supply in the state to its franchise areas of Kano, Jigawa and Katsina states to the vandalization of key transmission lines along the 33 kV Shiroro Kaduna transmission line while briefing journalists in the state. The vandalization, which has resulted to significant disruption of the national grid, has left the commercial city of Kano closing down their business, as many residents also describe the situation as disheartening. Channel's correspondent Nanchin Vincent brings us what the situation looks like in Kano.
It has been 8 days since Kano has been thrown into darkness following the current power outage affecting most northern states in the country. It's another major setback for the commercial city, which has grappled with such situations in the past as businesses lament the effect on their means of livelihood. The situation is frustrating for Ahmed Shuaibu, a businessman in Tarauni Market, who now sells a cold sachet of water for 30 naira, an increase from 20 naira, as he is forced to seek alternative ways to satisfy his customers' thirst.
This blackout has made business really difficult. To buy cold pure water is now 30 naira.
He is still one of the lucky ones, as most businesses on the market have been shut. Those brave enough to stay open lament low patronage.
You people met me sleeping since morning, no patronage.
Ice block is sold now at the rate of 650, 700, somewhere 800. How can you buy ice block for 800? How much you will gain? The gain is not all that much. So if we continue like this, I don't think we can survive anymore.
Residents are equally distressed with the unending hours of outage, which is making an already bad socio-economic situation worse.
For the past 8 days, no light, and in my area now, the Merua people, in 1 gallon of water is about 100 naira. So every day you need at least 5 jerrycans. And of course, the country is, everything is very, very difficult in the country. So everything has been crazy for me.
They call on the government to urgently find a solution.
This is a serious issue, and we are appealing to our government, to the President of Nigeria, to look onto this issue, to solve it urgently.
We are calling on the federal government and the TCN as well to do the needful. It's crazy that we've been in a total blackout for the past 8 days, and they are not even saying anything about it.
Transmission Company of Nigeria attributes the fault to some technical issues in its 330 kV Ugwaji Api transmission line. President Tinubu has given directives for urgent repairs.
The most effective way of supplying uninterrupted, functional, stable, and reliable electricity to the northern part of Nigeria is through our distributed power model, whereby each of the northern states will have an embedded utility solar scale solar source. All the 20 states will be insulated and immune from each other. Once we have, and we have actually made progress in this.
The TCN assured that the situation will normalize as soon as possible as efforts are on fixing the problem and restoring electricity to affected states. From Kano Commercial City, Nanchin Vincent, Channels Television News.
In a proactive step to mitigate climate impact, 1,800 residents from 9 flood-affected communities in Kebbi State have received a 360 million naira soft loan from the Agro-Climate Resilience in Semi-Arid Landscapes Initiative. The funding is intended to support local farmers in addressing land degradation and climate change impacts. During the disbursement ceremony at Government House in Birnin, Kebbi, Governor Nasiru Idris emphasized the importance of these loans in helping farmers tackle the challenges posed by climate change. He encouraged beneficiaries to use the funds effectively and ensure timely repayment to extend similar support to others in need. Project Task Team Leader Dr. Joya Gane highlighted that the initiative is part of the World Bank's support for addressing Nigeria's socio-economic challenges. She noted that while 9 communities have been selected for the first phase, 51 additional communities in Kebbi are on standby for future support.
Nigeria is one of the countries affected by climate change. According to some of the assessments that have been done, Nigeria actually ranked as one of the 10 most vulnerable countries in the world. So the impact is here. And if you look at Kebbi State, from the western side of the state, where we have some triggers for flooding, to the southern side, where we were discussing with the Commissioner for Water Resources about the conflict that is causing flooding, and then to the northern side, the Argungu area, where desertification is encroaching. So when you look at some of the issues and concerns of climate change, it's here in Kebbi State. And that is why ACRISA is here to support His Excellency and the government of Kebbi State to work with the communities in terms of how we can restore this land.
Still in Kebbi State, the wife of the state's governor, Hajia Zainab Nasir Idris, has officially launched the national health campaign, Know Your Number, Control Your Number, a health initiative led by Nigeria's First Lady, Senator Oluremi Tinubu. The campaign aims to screen 10 million Nigerians for hypertension and diabetes.
Hypertension and diabetes are often silent health threats that can result in sudden death. Many people neglect regular health checkups, missing the chance for early detection and prevention. This health campaign by the wife of the Kebbi State Governor, Zainab Idris, is taking off at the Primary Healthcare Center in Gwadangwaji, targeting over 500,000 people across Kebbi State.
A nationwide campaign aimed at sensitizing our populace on the 2 main non-communicable diseases that are very rampant among our people, that is hypertension and diabetes. The Federal Ministry of Health came up with this campaign tagged as Know Your Numbers, Control Your Numbers, which is aimed at sensitizing Nigerians on the need to inculcate the culture of going to check their health.
While flagging off the exercise, Hajia Zainab Idris, represented by the acting head of service, Aishatu Usman, emphasizes the importance of early detection for effective disease management.
The wife of the president mandated Her Excellency to replicate this at the state level. And that is why, in collaboration with federal government, Kebbi State, wife of His Excellency, has flagged up this Know Your Number, the 10 million campaign for all Nigerians to ensure that they check their status as far as hypertension and diabetes is concerned.
The district head of Gwadangwaji, Mohammed Jana, is happy to have the health campaign launched in his community.
My advice to the beneficiaries here is they should come in mass to test their status, because they have said the program is Know Your Number, Control Your Number. You have to know your status for hypertensive and diabetes before you now know what next step to take.
The Know Your Number, Control Your Number campaign is described as a significant step towards addressing hypertension and diabetes in the state.
Over in Zamfara State, the state's Adolescent Girls Initiative for Learning and Empowerment project has launched educational development plan aimed at enhancing access to education for girl child in the state. The state coordinator of the project, Saratu Abdul Gusso, while speaking at a media roundtable on the mission of the project, said the project is planning to construct 42 new schools and the renovation of 441 existing schools across Zamfara State.
The Zamfara State Adolescent Girl Initiative for Learning and Empowerment project is an ambitious educational initiative focused on improving access to education for girls across Zamfara State.
The Director Administration, Dr.
The initiative seeks to create safer, more conducive learning environment, particularly in rural and underserved communities where girls are often deprived of formal education due to cultural, financial, or logistical barriers.
The Agile project aims to address these challenges by providing girls with skills, knowledge, education, and confidence to succeed. Through Agile, we would like to, inshallah, construct 42 new schools under Component 1.1, creating enabling space, renovate and rehabilitate 441 schools under Component 1.2, renovation and rehabilitation, to reach out to girls 40%, inshallah, to be enrolled back to school through media, radio, social media campaigns, town hall meetings, and all community types of engagements.
The Zamfara State Commissioner for Education, Wadatao Madawaki, calls for inclusive opportunities for the girl child, especially in the area of science education.
Previously, there were no considerations on the issue of education, generally talking of the girl child. But today, with a new administration, with a new leader who is focused, who has the heart to ensure that the Zamfara State moves forward, the paradigm shift has come to stay.
Partner organizations seek the cooperation of all stakeholders to mobilize rural people who are mostly the target beneficiaries.
To promote education and create more awareness on girl child education and empowerment, and also to develop informative and enlightening content on the importance of education, to increase and enhance education-related programs for increased girls' enrollment, re-enrollment, transition, and completion rates.
Agile should give a kind of a specific training for media practitioners in Zamfara State on how you want media to support you. Give them training specifically. Get your reporters from each media outfit in Zamfara State, including social media. Give them training. Media monitoring. Try and have a team that will monitor this media. This should be under what? Under Project Communication Officer.
The Agile project is part of a broader national initiative in collaboration with the World Bank to empower adolescent girls through quality education with the goal of reducing the gender gap in schooling and enhancing socioeconomic opportunities for young women.
Welcome back. As part of measures to ensure effective leadership and management of secondary schools in Katsina State, the state government has conducted a 3-day training for 1,350 principals and their vice across the 34 local government areas of the state, ahead of the upcoming competency test for them scheduled to hold after the training. The outcomes of the test will guide up reappointments and ensure a merit-based approach to school leadership, thereby promoting dedicated and sound leadership in the schools. The training, which was coming barely a month after the state government reacted to media reports that have portrayed the state's performance in the 2024 National Examinations Council results in a negative light, was facilitated by the Federal College of Education, Katsina. The test is aimed at strengthening the leadership structure within the ecosystem of education.
This test is being conducted for the reason of sensitizing and cleansing the system, and to also avoid nepotism, favoritism, and corrupt practices in our schools, and to also strengthen the leadership structure within the ecosystem of education. And the nature of the program will be for us to do a 3-day training where we guide principals on curriculum implementation, leadership, national policies on education, and also execution of management of schools, and to also sensitize the principals on the direction of the state government, where His Excellency intends and how he wants to improve the education system. The principals are currently going through a 3-day training where all these key areas modules were developed in partnership with our partners, the Federal College of Education, who is hosting us to do this. And they have given us all the necessary support. They were able to come up with the modules, and they are the ones conducting the sensitization and the training on these principles.
Senator representing the Federal Capital Territory, FCT Abuja, Ireti Kebbi, has encouraged women not to relent in seeking any political office, stating that she ran for 20 years before eventually becoming a senator. Senator Kebbi was speaking in Katsina State at a 2-day Northwest Zonal Legislative Interactive session with the theme, Legislation and Participation of Women and Young Persons in Election and Leadership. She believes that women, if given the opportunity, are as important and relevant as their male counterparts. On his part, the Katsina State Governor Digo Rada, who was represented by the Secretary to the state government, highlights the importance of women and young persons in election matters.
You have to go and join a political party. Pick anyone you like, but participate. And you have to be bold. The first time you meet an obstacle, you run away and go back into the house. No. I ran for 20 years, 5 years. So tenacity is the word. It is difficult out there, but as long as they know they cannot drive you away, you will achieve it.
The importance of women and a young person cannot be overemphasized, taking into account their important role, the role that they occupy in the society. Because women, as mothers, as daughters, as sisters, or wives, no man could avoid this inherent connection with a woman. And from the other hand, a young person, either a woman or a man, they are the critical stakeholders in this exercise because they are the voters. They are the one working for the voting process, and as such, and more importantly, they are the leaders of tomorrow, as it is being said.
The Zamfara state government, in a bid to align the priority of the citizens with its proposed appropriation bill, held a town hall meeting to collate inputs from stakeholders that could help in designing the 2025 budget estimate based on the needs of the citizens and to ensure accountability and transparency. The state deputy governor, Mani Mumuni, said the idea of the citizens' budget introduced was aimed at improving accountability, transparency, and openness in governance and address the identified needs of the citizens.
The administration of Governor Dauda Lawal came in on the mantra of rescuing Zamfara state from the myriad of challenges that governments before it seemed unable to solve. It believes that achieving this requires citizens' involvement in decisions that affect their lives, especially with regards to their socio-economic needs. It is against this background that the Zamfara state government convened a town hall meeting on the preparation for the 2025 appropriation bill to enable stakeholders make their input.
Before the era of Dr. Dawda Lawal, the recurrent expenditure of the state was relatively close to higher than the capital expenditure. And in every economic or financial books, when liability are higher than investment in capital expenditure, then we are going towards a road that will crash the vehicle. What he did, he reduced government agencies from 28 ministries to 16 ministries. So that was a very good intended effort in making sure that the public funds are directed towards the development of the people of Zamfara state, not just the people claiming to be on the leadership seats of the state.
This process is being observed by development partners, including a representative of the United Nations Children's Education Fund, Sokoto Field Office, Isamaru. He believes the Zamfara state government has made significant progress in some critical sectors. But there is a need to increase budgetary allocation to the health and education sectors to recruit qualified personnel and provide quality services.
Zamfara is one of the few states that are having issue of poverty. Poverty has become a challenge. Many people in Zamfara could not be able to afford access to basic health care, to education of their children because of poverty. This government has done a lot in terms of healthcare facility structure. We are very proud of what this government is doing, but we need more workers to provide these services to our communities.
The state deputy governor, Mani Mumuni, calls on the traditional rulers to conduct similar meetings at their domains to harness the needs of the people and forward the resolutions to the Ministry of Budget and Economic Planning.
On this note, I want to call on the royal fathers that when you go back home, government is expecting you to conduct this kind of engagement and come up with the immediate requirement of your people and post it to the Ministry of Budget and Planning on or before 1st November to enable the Ministry collect the activities and submit some for the consideration of the Staff Executive Council. The civil society organization can do the same, and programs of Governor Dawda Lawa administration, which are geared towards uplifting the living standard of our people.
Chairman, Zamfara State Council of Chiefs, Emir of Anka, Atahiru Ahmad, suggests ways to checkmate the activities of bandits and help the government separate criminals from responsible people in towns and communities.
Over in Sokoto State, where over 10 traditional and community leaders in Sabon Birnin local government area of the state said they have resigned from their positions as community and traditional leaders, alongside other politicians and residents from the local government, to join force with Senator Ibrahim Lamido, representing Sokoto East Senatorial District. Spokesman of the group says they are leaving their positions to pitch their tent with the senator because of the purposeful leadership he is providing to liberate the eastern zone from insecurity, poverty, and education backwardness. According to him, the move is beyond politics, as the zone is in dire need of deliberate interventions to liberate the region economically, having suffered a great deal from activities of bandits, which has disrupted socio-economic activities for several years, and Senator Lamido has shown reasonable commitment to solving some of these challenges. This is coming after the recent crisis brewing within the ranks of the All Progressives Congress APC in Sokoto State, as over 40 members loyal to the senator representing Sokoto East Senatorial District, Ibrahim Lamido, resigned their positions voluntarily to prove their allegiance to the senator who they consider as the leader of the party. The federal government says it is taking steps to rehabilitate infrastructure in all correctional centers across the country, as well as improve the welfare of correctional officers and inmates at correctional centers. The Minister of Interior, Mr. Olubunmi Tunji-Ojo, stated this at the passing out parade of 31st Assistant Superintendent of Corrections Basic Course held at Nigerian Correctional Staff College in Kaduna State. Represented by the Secretary, Civil Defense, Correctional, Fire and Immigration Services Board, Jafaru Ahmed, also hinted of plans to ensure regular training and promotion of officers. He, however, urges the passing out officers to be dedicated to their constitutional responsibilities of managing the nation's correctional centers.
Any moment from now, the passing. Columns date back to early days when men fixed their positions as rallying points should the occasion.
Meanwhile, the Kaduna State government says it is targeting 150 billion naira yearly internally generated revenue as part of efforts to improve its revenue base for developmental purposes. The State Commissioner for Budget and Planning, Mokhtar Ahmed, who gave the hint at a sensitization meeting with relevant revenue generation agencies, expresses optimism to meet the target if all taxpayers are able to pay their taxes voluntarily. And that's it on this edition of Newsroom series. I'm Dominic Iwiwu. Stay safe.